Hello, hello, hello. This is Tez in the Unknown, and I'm here to talk about WrestleMania 41. Now, WWE released their match card for WrestleMania weekend, so what I want to do is jump right into it. Uh, Talk about who I think will win, and to answer a posing question that has caused some discourse online. Does WrestleMania 41 feel like WrestleMania? With it being a short time away, does it really feel like WrestleMania? Does it? Can we feel the aura of WrestleMania season? Well, without further ado, let's jump right into that. So right now we got as follows for night one: Gunther versus Jey Uso for the World Heavyweight Championship. Tiffany Stratton versus Charlotte Flair for the World Heavyweight Championship. War Raiders versus the New Day for their World Tag Team Championship. Rey Mysterio versus El Grande Americano grudge match, non-title match. Jade Cargill versus Naomi, non-title match, grudge match. LA Knight versus Jacob Fatu for the United States Championship. And last and certainly not least, Seth Rollins versus Roman Reigns versus CM Punk in a triple threat match. So let's go ahead and jump right into it here. Alright, so we got Gunther versus Jey Uso for the World Heavyweight Championship. Now personally, I love Jey. I love this guy. I love everything that he's put in his whole career, where he started to where he is now. Especially what he put up in the last just about 5 years into this business. We really got to see that Jey really show a different side to him, and I've loved that ever since. The storytelling for Jey, for me, was pretty great, and it really Jey got to really show off that he can offer so much more to this company. And to see him win, the Royal Rumble, eliminating John Cena, was crazy. But it's been a bit of a mess, to say how they wanted to build up Gunther versus Jey. And some of it has to do with the fans' discourse, because now everyone wants to hate. Well, quite a few people online want to hate Jey with a passion now, in the sense of they don't believe he deserves a title match against Gunther and doesn't deserve to win, yada yada yada. And part of it is also because WWE messed up in this build. Now, before he even fought, before he even had this match for WrestleMania against Gunther, he fought him before in January at Saturday Night's Main Event, and he lost. That right there was tough, because now people said, well, we already saw that these two guys fight, and although it was a pretty good match, we didn't see anything that we really. They wanted like move sets left and right. I believe Gunther deserved a bit more of a better match, but because we saw that already, they're like, I don't know if we really want to see that again in WrestleMania. They would have wanted him to face Cody. I know I was one of the ones who wanted him to face Cody, but they went down the road here with Gunther again, and it almost feels like they're doing what they did with Sami Zayn when Sami Zayn went up against Gunther last year to try to take the title. That Gunther's unbeatable. Don't know if he can beat him. And it seems like they're just rehashing that, and now they're giving it to Jey. Now, at first, I was like, okay, well, this one's a given. I think Jey Uso is going to win. There's no way they're not going to put the title on him. And that's going to piss off a lot of people online. But come on now. The crowd's going to be going crazy. Because the crowd versus the IWC is always so different. Because the crowd is so much more hyped for Jey Uso than the IWC ever seems to be. Or at least some of the WIC. Did I say WIC? IWC. I think I said that right. I'm sorry. I got a lot on my mind right now. But let's go ahead and just say Jey Uso should be the one to go over Gunther. Now, I love Gunther, but his title reign, let's be completely freaking honest, it has not been all that great. It was at the start, it was pretty good. And then somewhere where they made him feel like he was losing confidence, I think that it kind of just shook everything up, and it was weird for a little bit, but now he's got his confidence back and everything, so. And it seems like this match is like it's like the same thing with now. It's what happening with Jey Uso. He had that horrible, you know, jump over the top rope that he botched, and they're making it now. They made that into Jey Uso, who was so like adamant about him beating Gunther, but now having those doubts because of the people online, and then you had wrestlers like Grayson Waller talking about he's never going to beat Gunther, he's never going to be champion, and then we saw what Gunther did to Jimmy, that just beat the living crap out of him, and now we get to now that added something really important to the match, and it really added more seriousness. I can't wait to see what happens on Raw, but it added a lot more heart, and it really plugged into a part of Jey Uso that I feel is needed for WrestleMania, what was needed for this match, because I love yeeting. Let's yeet, but there's a time and place for it. But when WrestleMania season is in, we don't really want to see the yeet Jey Uso. We want to see the right hand man Jey Uso, and we're finally getting that now because Gunther don't messed up, and we saw that in the promo that they delivered on on Monday Night Raw this past week. So I am ready for the right hand man Jey Uso to handle business and beat Gunther. So that's who I pick. I think they're starting to get the story right. I wish they would have done this earlier so we wouldn't have this kind of so we can, I don't know, so more people can get behind Jey, I feel. But it's done. It was what was needed for WrestleMania, and it was what was needed for this match to feel like, for people to at least give a damn about it. And I think most people online are like, okay, I can get behind this match now. So for me, I got Jey Uso versus Gunther. I got Jey Uso taking Gunther and becoming a World Heavyweight Championship match. His title reign, I think it'll last up to SummerSlam. And I got him losing to an old friend, but I'll save that for later. Alright. Tiffany Stratton versus Charlotte Flair for the WWE Women's Championship. A lot of dirty laundry here. That was that was spewed on live television. Now, here's the thing. Personally, I don't like personal stuff being aired unless both people are in on it. And I think the crap that Charlotte gets online by personally attacking her, it's disgusting. It's wrong. But I don't have a problem necessarily with what Tiffany did. because Charlotte Flair has been undercutting Tiffany for quite a bit, and when the Chicago crowd shook her, Charlotte Flair decided to go ahead and undercut Tiffany again. But this time Tiffany didn't hold back and she stood up for herself. Now, could she have done that without saying the personal stuff? I'm pretty sure she could have. But in the heat of the moment, the crowd's going crazy. She said what she said, and it's not something that she can take back. Both women received um, a lot of flack for what happened, especially Charlotte Flair. She deserved most of it because here it is. It's not the first time that she's done this. She's done this to Becky Lynch. She's done this to Nia Jax. I believe there's people also saying that she did that to Bianca. I have to go back and really check that out. But now she's done it to Tiffany. When, and reading about how they, what was supposed to be said in the script, yeah, they went way off the script. But, yeah, and then we started to see that, things now are starting to really truly heat up, and they're going in another direction with Charlotte Flair and Tiffany Stratton, a little bit more personal direction. And we kind of saw that on SmackDown, how it all played out. Charlotte Flair jumping Tiffany and whatnot. And people say Charlotte Flair deserves to win this match. I say no. I think Tiffy should be able to handle it and should be able to win because of what, not necessarily because I think it's something that Charlotte Flair needs to do. Is have Tiffany win against her. It's a way because Charlotte Flair as unprofessionalism, because she is the veteran here. She's supposed to rein it in. She's supposed to keep it in check. She didn't do her job, and that's no. I think Tiffany Stratton, even before that, I felt like she still should win. But with everything that's happened now, I think Tiffany should win. And I believe a trade should happen, but I'm gonna talk about that later when we get into night 2. But I think Tiffany Stratton needs to be the one that goes over and retains her title. Now, it could be. I don't think this is going to be won by a finisher. I think this is going to be like a roll up. I think Charlotte is going to get full of herself, and I think Tiffany's going to roll her up for the 1, 2, 3. So, Tiffany Stratton will retain her women's championship. Let's move on. War Raiders versus the New Day. Now, the New Day are heels in this, and they have been heels before, but this time they're not as interesting as they should be. And I think part of that, a lot of that has to do with the fact that everyone thought Big E was coming back. And instead, it just felt like it got stagnant. And I feel like they didn't know what to do other than give New Day a match at WrestleMania because of the accolades, because of what they've done. They've gone against the War Raiders now. They add a little bit more intrigue to the match when they had them attack the War Raiders, trying to injure Eric, I believe, his neck, before everyone came out there and stopped them. But I don't see people being as hyped for this match. I don't feel like hyped for the match. The build is just, to me, not there. But I got the War Raiders retaining, and I'm just going to add a little something to that. I think the New Day are going to try to cheat. I believe they're going to do whatever it takes to win these tag team titles. But I believe Big E is going to have a run-in. And he's going to at least, I don't know if he's going to get fully physical in that match. He might just stop them from trying to cheat. And that distraction will cause the New Day to lose at WrestleMania. And maybe it could lead to Big E making a full-time comeback. So we'll see how that goes. Next up, Rey Mysterio versus Grande Americano. Now, some people have a problem um, with this match because they feel like other people deserve this spot in the match, or El Grande Americano doesn't deserve to be in this match. Um, hmm. They say El Grande Americano is Chad Gable. It remains to be seen. I mean, it's got a mask on. We can't really see who it is, right? So, but there are people who have a problem with this match because it just feels like a mockery, and I have a lot of things going on. And personally, as a Black Latino, I don't have a problem with this one. This has been a thing for WWE for as long as I've been alive and before that. So I don't think there's a problem with it. I think it's actually it's fun. Um, I actually can't wait to see what the hell happens in this match. Um, but yeah, I'm interested to see El Grande Americano in his first WrestleMania. I'm gonna say Ray wins this. Actually, I'm gonna say Ray Mysterio wins this one. I don't know. They could do like a switcheroo if Ray wants to try to remove the mask. We could have a switcheroo, as it were. Um, one one person's underneath the ring, um, rolls out, goes into the ring to replace the one that was in the ring. Kind of like the whole Kurt Angle, Eric Angle situation. If there was now, I think there should be the loser gets unmasked, so maybe that happens. But I think Ray wins, but I wouldn't count out El Grande Americano. But I'm gonna go with Ray. Jade Cargo versus Naomi. Now this one is an absolute grudge match, and I'm very happy about this one. I think it's a great um, match for both of them, and it's a great women's match that doesn't have to involve a title match. Like, they need more of these matches to be happening. But they're not booked as well on the main roster as they should be. Not like NXT, which Shawn Michaels is freaking killing it there. Booking the women there. It is truly, I believe, NXT for me is definitely has the best women's division in the world. Not just because of the wrestlers and the variety of women wrestlers there, but also because of how they're booked. So big props to Shawn Michaels, and maybe he can teach Triple H a thing or two. But anyways, let's get into this. Jade Cargo versus Naomi has actually had a pretty damn good build to it. Um, it started when Jade Cargo was attacked, thrown onto that car, all laid out. We went through weeks of trying to figure out who it was, months even, and it all came to culmination at the Elimination Chamber when Jade Cargo made a return and attacked Naomi. And ever since then, we've seen a different side of Naomi, and I've got to say, I love seeing this side of Naomi. I love seeing her get her shine. I've been saying this forever, and we only got a small sample of this, but when she was on Team Bad, I love Naomi a lot more there than I did as with her as a babyface. Now, she worked as a babyface. Don't get me wrong, but But I felt like her as a heel really, you know, spoke to me. So this right here, seeing Naomi in the last few segments that she's had, I'm gonna go with Naomi. I think Naomi beats Jade Cargill here by shenanigans. Not sure exactly what she's gonna do, but I'm gonna say Naomi wins because of shenanigans. So that's mine. And also, it's really cool for Jade to get her one-on-one match. So it'll be interesting. That'll be a really good match to see. All right. Now, LA Knight versus Jacob Fatu for the United States Championship match. Jacob has shot out like a cannon since his arrival here in WWE. He's really become a megastar. Sorry, LA Knight, but he's become a megastar. He's supposed to be the heel, but the people are behind him fully. There's like things that a guy his size shouldn't do, and it's a freaking marvel. And whenever he gets on the mic, bro, you just feel it. He has that aura to him. He has it. I got this man becoming a world heavyweight championship in a not too distant future. But right here, I'm gonna say this right here and right now. God, I am rooting for Jacob Fatu. This is a tough one. This is a very, very tough one. Because I feel shenanigans are going to happen in this match and it may not work out in Jacob Fatu's favor. I don't want to say because in my heart I feel like this is going to happen, but in my mind I feel like this is going to happen. Dang. I'm going to go with... Damn it. It doesn't need a title match, but I really want Jacob to win. Let's go with it. Jacob Fatu beats LA Knight for the United States Championship. I think Jacob deserves it, and I'm not saying that LA Knight doesn't. I think LA Knight is a hell of a commodity to the WWE. Everyone's still behind him. You can still feel the LA Knight aura, but I think Jacob Fatu is truly that guy, and he deserves to win. Now I feel like shenanigans are gonna get involved, and I feel like the Solo and Tama are gonna get involved. I think they're genuinely trying to help. At least Tama is. I don't know Solo. Solo may be trying to help, but he may screw up things for Jacob Fatu and almost cost him the United States Championship. But Jacob will overcome it, and he will win and bring the United States Championship to his family. So, a winner and new United States Champion, Jacob Fatu. Alright, here we go. Seth Rollins versus Roman Reigns versus CM Punk. A lot of personal hate here. A lot of it, but they put it aside because they're professionals. And they're gonna go at it. A lot of intrigue, I love the build. This is probably the the best build of this may be the best build of WrestleMania 41. Now Seth Rollins versus CM Punk, they put on classics. Now you throw in Roman Reigns in there, and Roman Reigns has got some things, and now you got Paul Heyman thrown in there because now he's the one that is going to be walking out with CM Punk in his first ever main event at WrestleMania. Well, first ever WrestleMania main event, let's clarify that. And it was something that was a promise that was made back in 2013, what Paul Heyman made to CM Punk, and they alluded to that. And that made him feel like he couldn't turn that down, which it felt like Roman got betrayed again. It seems like Roman just keeps getting betrayed. The only one who's ever stayed faithful to Roman Reigns has been Dean Ambrose, or Jon Moxley, for those who just watch AEW or don't know anything about the WWE side of things. But excuse me. But I feel like this has been such a build, and then let's not even get to the Seth Rollins Roman Reigns situation. That has been something that they've came in together, and then the shot heard around the world, the chair shot to the back, has forever plagued Roman Reigns and has always left him with a sense of lingering doubt in people's loyalty, why he does what he does and tries to get them to do the most obscene things. Like he tried to get his brother, his cousins to do the same thing, and was able to bring them into the fold, manipulating them, but was able to bring them into the fold. What he tried to get to do to Sammy, which he kind of sort of did at the War Games, if you go back in 2020, was it 2023? Or 2022? Trying to think. I think it was 2022. I have to go back. Years mixed up. But Sammy at the Royal Rumble a couple months later decided to not attack his friend and stand up against Roman Reigns. Another chair shot to the back. Now, last year's WrestleMania, Roman Reigns got a bit of revenge because here's Seth Rollins in a Shield attire, and he had a choice to preserve his title reign or to get this man back who has cost him so much in his career, losing the titles, breaking up the bond, the friendships, everything. And he went for Seth Rollins, and in doing so, that cost him his 4-year title reign as champ to Cody Rhodes. So, and then, the personal stuff with Seth Rollins and CM Punk, that has been going on for years, and we've seen it over the last several months, maybe even a year and a half. Well, since Punk has been back, we've seen it. This match is going to be crazy. I believe we're going to get Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns having a short Shield reunion. I believe CM Punk's about to take a powerbomb through the table. Deserves to win this one. I had Roman winning this one because it's like it's happened again and again and again. Who do I think needs to win this one, though? I think it needs to be CM Punk. I think CM Punk needs to win this one. I don't want to see Roman go through another heartbreak betrayal. I don't want to see it. I'm dreading it, but I think, and here it is, I think Paul is going to try to help Roman. I don't think he's going to help Seth. I think Seth alluded to not curb stomping him, that Paul owes him a favor for showing mercy. But I don't think Paul is going to help Seth Rollins. I think he's going to actually try to help Roman, but it's going to backfire. And I think CM Punk, I'm changing my pick in mid video. I think CM Punk's going to win this one because I think that Paul's going to try to help Roman, and it's going to backfire, and CM Punk's going to capitalize. And winner of this grudge match, this ultimate grudge match, will be Cult of Personality, Mr. Best in the World, CM Punk. So that's my assessment for night 1 of WrestleMania 41. So let's go ahead and try to see for night 2, ladies and gentlemen. All right. All right, so here's WrestleMania Night 2. We got Liv and Raquel versus Bayley and Lyra for the women's tag team title match. They had a gauntlet tag team women's match. It was kind of a mess, but we are where we are now. Damian Priest versus Drew McIntyre in a Sin City street fight. Braun Breaker versus Dominic Mysterio versus Penta versus Finn Balor. A fatal 4-way for the IC title. AJ Styles versus Logan Paul. Io Sky versus Rhea Ripley versus Bianca Belair for the triple threat. It's a triple threat match for the women's championship. And last and not least, Cody Rhodes versus John Cena for the undisputed WWE title. And excuse me, a little under the weather here. Alright, so let's jump into it. Liv Morgan, Raquel, Bailey, and Lyra. There is not so much of a total build to it. Um, I don't think that they know what exactly they want to do. I just feel like Liv and Raquel are gonna retain. There's no way Bailey and Lyra are gonna win. I don't understand why they made mid card titles for women, and yet not showcasing them on either match for night one. If you weren't gonna do it for Lyra, you should have done it for Chelsea Green and Zelina Vega. Have them have a match at WrestleMania. I don't understand. Maybe that could still happen. We're a week away, but it's mind boggling why Triple H has not done this. So I'm just gonna give it to Liv and Raquel. There's no way they're losing to Bailey and Lyra. All right. Um, Damian Priest versus Drew McIntyre. Now, a lot of people were not very happy with this match. They wanted Drew McIntyre versus Roman Reigns. Even Drew McIntyre kind of said, and he suggested that it should have been him versus Roman Reigns, but he gets why they picked Damian Priest because this goes all the way back to last year's WrestleMania, where Damian Priest cashed in on a prone Drew McIntyre who, let's be honest, screwed himself and put himself in that position. And he lost the title that way. Drew made some interesting points, though, where it always seemed like Damian Priest was there to pick the bones from Drew McIntyre. And I think he's right. But it's not because Damian Priest really did so much as totally was like behind it all. It was because Drew McIntyre can get over this obsession that he's had for people, and he's been having it ever since because of his traumatic experience with the bloodline. Um, with that being said, I believe that it's been an okay build to this match. Calling back to last year's WrestleMania, and I think I love Damian, but I'm gonna give it to Drew here. I think Drew needs this win, and I think he deserves this win. And maybe he'll go off and he'll go to face a world heavyweight champion in the near future. Maybe even in the next pay per view or PLE as they call it now. But I just think Drew McIntyre is the one that deserves to win here. But I believe that they're gonna have a great showing. I believe it's gonna be very physical. I don't think it's gonna be bloody. But I do believe that Drew McIntyre is going to walk out with the win here. And finally maybe put to bed this whole thing with Damian Priest. Damian Priest can go off and do his own thing. Maybe even go after Jacob Fatu for the United States Championship. So we'll see. Okay, now we got Braun Breaker versus Dominic Mysterio versus Penta versus Finn Balor for the Intercontinental Championship. This has been I've enjoyed the build because they've been showing for the last few weeks. Penta, who I freaking love, he's freaking amazing. I love the aura. I love the little walk that he does to the ring. It's pretty freaking cool. But here we are in this fatal four way. We have discourse between Finn Balor and Dominic Mysterio. It's been building ever since. Finn Balor has been kind of making Dom feel like he's not worthy of the IC title match. And Dom has showed he's trying to look out for the team, but I think more and more as time goes on here, I'm gonna go with God, man. I think I'm gonna go ahead and pull the trigger on this one. I think Dominic Mysterio is going to be your new Intercontinental Championship. I believe he's the one that deserves this the most out of the four of them. I think what's going to happen is Finn Balor is going to hit his finisher. And Dom is going to throw him out and he's going to pin either Braun Breaker or Penta. I think if I'm gonna say it, I think that I think think Dom is going to. I think it's going to be Penta. I think Penta's going to eat the pin here. I don't want Penta or Braun to break it, but if I had to choose between either one of the two, I think I would have to say Penta because I can see them trying to go with Braun versus Dominic Mysterio. And Dominic kind of like cowardly not trying to face Braun Breaker because of that freaking spear. But by the way, that spear on Carlito, could God, that's one of the most devastating spears I've seen ever. Launched and did a whole, oh God, like a 360 flip or 180 flip or whatever. But Carlito was absolutely destroyed. But I'm going with Dominic Mysterio here. He walks out the new Intercontinental Champion. He deserves it. And it's gonna be I think it's gonna be a fun title reign. I'm not gonna lie. We got AJ Styles now versus Logan Paul. Oh God. Okay, so I don't believe AJ deserves this. I believe he deserves better. I don't want AJ Styles to lose, but I feel like they're going to go with this. I think I'm just going to go ahead and jump right into it. I think Logan Paul is going to win. They had him lose quite a bit. He only, and I think that they're trying to have this whole thing where he's now starting to be like a full-time wrestler, even though we haven't seen him as much as we should, and he's not even really wrestling like these other guys are. But I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna give the win to Logan Paul, even though I really don't want to. I think AJ Styles deserves to win. I don't know how much time he's got left in the company. I really wanted to give it to him, but I just feel like they're gonna go with Logan Paul in this one. Okay, I don't even want to talk about that anymore. And I hate that because AJ again deserves so much more, but Logan Paul. All right, this one I'm really interested to see who wins this one. Io Sky versus Rhea Ripley versus Bianca Belair. Now, Io Sky won the championship off of Rhea Ripley on a Monday Night Raw after Elimination Chamber, I believe. And it was because Rhea Ripley, and she likes to blame Bianca for this, distracted her, which was not it. She cheered Io on to get her butt back in the ring, so this match doesn't end as a count out, and Rhea Ripley took that as, well, you're choosing Io over me, and that's not it. And then she put hands on Bianca, and then Bianca retaliated. But again, Rhea got back in the match. She still had the upper hand, and yet she still wanted to talk trash in the top rope. She paid for it. Io Sky capitalized and became champion. This is all Rhea Ripley's fault, and it's because Rhea Ripley has nobody in her corner anymore. She doesn't have the Judgment Day having her back. She doesn't have Damian Priest or Tara Twin having her back. He's on SmackDown. Rhea Ripley is on her own and feels isolated, and it felt what Bianca did was her leaving her side, not being her friend. But Bianca did nothing wrong. So it was supposed to be Io Sky versus Bianca, but Rhea Ripley over the last several weeks has been trying to get back into that, trying to get her way back into a match, get her title back. Whether it was going to be, it was supposed to be Io Sky versus Rhea Ripley for the women's championship. But Bianca Belair, as a special guest referee, she went and she called it off as a double disqualification because both women laid their hands on her. Now, Io did that on accident. But Rhea, the first time was an accident. The second time, she slapped her. I mean, what did Rhea Ripley expect? But it's been crazy. fans have been cheering for Rhea. Rhea is that much of a fan favorite that they're booing Bianca for being right. Bianca Belair has not been wrong at all, and the disrespect has been real. Although the disrespect to Io that Rhea and Bianca had kind of shown was the whole pushing her down like she doesn't matter. When she, of course, does matter. She's one of the best women's wrestlers in the world and deserves all the respect there is to be given. And I think that Io felt that disrespect and decided to take both out on this, I believe, this week's Monday Night Raw. Um, if I remember, yeah, she took them both out. So, as he signed the contract. And at first I thought they were booing, and they were booing Bianca. Like, I want to get right back into that. They were booing Bianca for being right. The disrespect. Now, at first I thought it was because it was overseas, and I can understand why some overseas crowd would. I mean, not saying that they're justified in any way, because they're not justified for booing Bianca. But I think we all know the reason why she was booed overseas. Let's be for real. But also, now that we got back to the States, she has to be getting booed because Rhea Ripley, again, as I just mentioned, is such a fan favorite that anybody going up against her is considered the bad guy, and that's ridiculous to me. Bianca Belair is the one that's getting screwed in this whole deal. It's supposed to be just Io versus Bianca, but they want to put Rhea Ripley in there, and if that was the case, they should have just done Rhea Ripley versus Bianca, but Bianca Belair is not wrong, and I think they're setting her up. And though people want to keep insinuating this, I will keep saying this. Bianca Belair had nothing to do with what happened to Jade. Well, here's a bold thing I'm going to make. They're going to make it seem like Bianca had Naomi do this. But hold up. Let me get into who's going to win. Bianca Belair is going to win this. I believe she's going to pin I believe Bianca Belair is going to pin Io Sky. I want her to pin Rhea just to prove just because I think how Rhea got into this match is absolutely ridiculous. She whined and complained her way into the match. It's my cat, everybody. Just jumping around. But anyways, back to what I was saying. She complained her way into the match. Didn't deserve to be in it, but she's in it now. And Bianca Belair was fed up with it. I think she's gonna pin Io, because then it feeds into the Rhea Ripley thing, like, oh, Bianca Belair doesn't want to face me, and they're gonna have their match for sure. I think they're gonna have their one-on-one match, and I think Bianca Belair's still gonna go over. I want her to go over because I think she deserves to win this match, and also because it keeps her WrestleMania undefeated streak alive, and that's a pretty cool thing to do, and you can eventually do that for next year, like several WrestleManias going forward, where Bianca Belair doesn't even have to fight for the title, but her undefeated streak would be on the line, in a sense, and that would be a big thing for the women to have to go up against. So I think Bianca Belair should be the one to go over and win. I'm going to be rooting for her because I believe in my heart and in my mind she should be winning this. But what I was saying earlier, I think this is going to also build into Bianca Belair and the Naomi situation and Jade Cargill situation, where Naomi's going to name Bianca as the reason, as the one who instructed her to go after Jade. It's gonna be like the Rock, Stone Cold, Rikishi situation, where we find out that, well, Rikishi went out. For those who don't know, went out. Stone Cold Steve Austin got ran over. It was by the Rock's rental car. They thought it was the Rock, but then it turned out to be Rikishi. Then Rikishi said he was doing it for the Rock. And then he said he was instructed by The Rock to do it. Stone Cold Steve Austin went after The Rock, only then to find out that it was Triple H who was behind it. So in this scenario, I believe Charlotte Flair is the mastermind behind it all. Because, like we kind of pointed out, her little rift with Tiffany and this up and comer trying to come up here and take her title, trying to take her spot. I believe all the aura around Jade Cargill, Charlotte Flair felt that, and she manipulated Naomi into believing that Jade is here and she's gonna take your spot, she's gonna take your aura. You see what she's doing here? That's what she's gonna do, and you need to be the one to stop that. And I believe that's where Charlotte Flair. I believe Charlotte Flair is the mastermind behind it all, but they're gonna try to frame Bianca for it, and we're gonna find out that Charlotte Flair has been the one behind this whole dang thing to begin with. So no, Bianca Belair is going to be accused of it again. The finger's going to be pointed at her, but she is not going to be the one behind it, people. It's Charlotte Flair, and if you look at, I believe, what happened the week before, this past week, they had a stare down. And they've had a stare down before even Jade Cargill made her intention on where she wanted to go, whether it was Raw or SmackDown or NXT. They had another stare down. So we could be getting Jade Cargill versus Charlotte Flair at next year's WrestleMania. But, so, not but. So I feel like that's where we're going with this. But Bianca Belair will retain. Retain. She will become the new champion. And I think she's going to stay on SmackDown, which would force Tiffany to go ahead and put her on Raw, get her away from Charlotte Flair in that whole situation. And also, her boyfriend, Ludwig Kaiser, is there. So, there we go. And last but not least, again, the main event of all main events, Cody Rhodes versus John Cena. John Cena, of all things, being the heel in this situation is completely and utterly mind-boggling, but it was the best thing to ever happen. I have said this has been a generational epic heel turn. John Cena versus Cody Rhodes. Now, they've had John Cena go through this thing where he's right. He has been absolutely been mistreated by the WWE Universe. I've been one of those guys who would not get behind John Cena because, I loved the John Cena before he started wearing all the flashy, bright colors and stuff like that, and really catering to the younger audiences. So I get why John Cena feels the way he's been feeling. But I haven't been like absolutely brutal to that man, like a lot of these other people have been. But I did share the same sentiments as the fact that John Cena has always kind of been like pushed forward. But then again, when you think about it, there's nobody really there at that time that you could have pushed forward until you got into the 2010s, and you could have made that thing with CM Punk and Dolph Ziggler, and there's a lot of people. But John Cena came out and was going after the crowds there, even after a little kid, saying it was a toxic relationship. And they've been protecting Cody Rhodes a bit. I think that they didn't want to. I think they were a little afraid of the face off. But when they finally did, and John Cena was finally able to fire off some shots against Cody Rhodes, it was an epic promo because Cody Rhodes did hold his own. You got to give him his props there. He did hold his own, and he was able to finally put hands on John Cena, getting a small bit of revenge for what happened to him at Elimination Chamber, where John Cena and The Rock, and featuring Travis Scott, really beat down Cody Rhodes. I can't wait to see what happens next. I'm pretty sure they're going to be on Raw and on SmackDown before WrestleMania. And I can't wait to see. And where the hell's The Rock? The Rock built, made this whole thing happen. Built this up, and Rock has not been there. I'm pretty sure he'll make a surprise appearance in one of these two uh, Raw or SmackDowns before WrestleMania. But like the build has not. Cody's kind of having to carry the build a bit because John Cena has not been there. But I just feel like for like the last 2 weeks, I believe, with SmackDown, in Chicago and then here in Minnesota, um, this past Friday. But I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna say Cody Rhodes. No, 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 scratch that. Sorry, John Cena's gonna win. I'm sorry. I know they want to do Cody Rhodes versus Randy Orton, but I don't think that's gonna happen, and that's gonna probably be a miss. But I don't think it's gonna happen. I think John Cena's gonna win, and I think we're going to get we're gonna get a few interferences. I think we're going to get The Rock interfering, and we're going to get Stone Cold showing up. What people wanted last year, but because things didn't work out behind the scenes, money wise, Stone Cold was like, "I'm not doing it." But now he's gonna be there for WrestleMania weekend. He's gonna try to save Cody Rhodes as best as he can. He may even give The Rock a Stone Cold Stunner. Let's see if The Rock can still sell the Stone Cold Stunner like he usually does. I love how he sells that crap. It's like him being like a fish flopping around. So we'll see. But Travis Scott may make an appearance, and let Cody Rhodes go ahead and get his receipt for that shot to the face. Travis Scott was just so hyped up, and it was a very green move. So I do believe Cody Rhodes deserves to give him a receipt for that. Other than that, I think John Cena still wins, and he's the new champ, and he breaks Ric Flair's record of 16 title wins with his 17th. And honestly, it's gonna be freaking cool to see where this road takes us going forward. I'm pretty sure John Cena and Cody Rhodes are gonna get a rematch. Um, but there is one more, and it may be moved to night one. Is what the hell they're doing with Randy Orton. Now Kevin Owens has to deal with a neck injury. Speedy recovery, Kevin. You've been freaking amazing. I love watching you wrestle. My mom loves watching you wrestle. See, you're one of her faves. Um, but I don't know what they're gonna do. They're teasing him versus Randy Orton versus Nick Aldis because Randy Orton needs a match for WrestleMania. How can you leave Randy Orton off the card? You can't. And even though it's not here, so it could either be night one or night two, maybe night two. But I think we go ahead and we give Randy Orton versus Nick Aldis. I think we'd be really cool to see that. I think he's going to get permission from the board to wrestle in this match, and it'd be really cool for Nick Aldis because he's for people who don't know, he's a wrestler. I mean, he was a wrestler, I believe in TNA, or I believe he was a wrestler in TNA or NWA. I can't remember which one. But the dude, I believe, can still go. He still looks like he can go. That dude is in fit. I think it would be really cool to see. I'm gonna say Nick Aldis wins this because I believe Nick Aldis is gonna set Randy Orton up. Now, could it also be the fact that Nick Aldis doesn't, and it's Rusev that actually, who's been recently signed by WWE, and he gets to have his comeback at WrestleMania and goes up against Randy Orton. Randy Orton's about to win. Nick Aldis causes a distraction, causing Rusev to win, and then Rusev and Nick Aldis beat down Randy Orton after the match. Either way, I don't see Randy Orton winning his match, whether it's against Nick Aldis or Rusev, because either way, I feel like it's going to be a distraction, whether it's in the Nick Aldis versus Randy Orton match where Rusev comes in and just absolutely distracts Randy Orton, and Nick Aldis wins, and then they beat him down, or Rusev versus Randy Orton, and Nick Aldis uh, causes a distraction, and Rusev wins. And then again, Randy Orton gets beat down after the match. So we'll see how that goes. So those are my picks. And last but not least, let's talk about this. The build of WrestleMania 41. Now, we all kind of knew it was not going to be exactly the kind of build that WrestleMania 40 was, because WrestleMania 40 was a freaking amazing build to it. You had The Rock there and his aura pretty much there most of that road to WrestleMania. And it was just had such a feeling to it. And even WrestleMania 39, there was a feel to it that WrestleMania season's here. Everyone's getting hyped. We can't wait for it to happen. WrestleMania 41 doesn't feel that way. The build has been really, it's been really shoddy. And it has to do with Triple H and the way things have been built up. Now, can these cards overcome it? I believe they can. But the build has not been there like in the past WrestleMania in the Triple H era. I just feel like this doesn't really feel like WrestleMania. I can't even believe WrestleMania is like, it's a short time away. And I can't, it's like Easter weekend. So when I'm putting this out there, I'm probably putting this out there later on today. It's about a week away, and I just don't feel like it's there. It just has not been there, and you can ask people, and you can check online. People feel the same way. This doesn't feel like WrestleMania season is here, and that is on Triple H, and also on TKO, because now you can't even hardly afford to go to WrestleMania. The diehard fans, there'll be some of them there, but there'll be a lot of them that can't go because it's so freaking expensive. And it's because TKO's kind of doing this thing like they do with UFC, have this outrageous prices. Now, I just still believe there's people that are going to eventually go, but it just doesn't. But it really takes away from that experience. Now, some people who are not even into it, and I'm a Dallas Cowboy fan, understands this because a lot of diehard Dallas Cowboy fans can't even afford to go into that arena and just experience and just have fun with and go watch the game. But the guys who are super like can really truly afford to go there, they're not as diehard. They just see this as a nice let's go out and have a good time thing, and not really necessarily loving the Dallas Cowboys like that. And that's what I feel like is happening here. It's like WrestleMania season is here, and yet a lot of them are not going to be able to go to that arena because it's like costing like a whole body, not just an arm and a leg, a whole body just to get in, to even maybe even get into the cheap seats, and it's just ridiculous. And thank God I went to WrestleMania 38 because that was my first ever WrestleMania, and I got to truly enjoy that. And I got there at pretty good prices. Now I was kind of like behind the whole, almost behind the entrance build up of it all at WrestleMania 38. But dude, I could still see everything, and it was a lot of fun. But it just feels like with that going on and the build to this WrestleMania, I just feel like we're being told it's WrestleMania 41, it's WrestleMania season, but it doesn't feel it. The aura's not there. But I'm hoping and I'm praying that WrestleMania 41 lives up past the hype. Because the hype, the aura has not been there. So, I'm really hoping for that. Oh Lord, I really should have plugged up this computer. It's about to go out. Jesus. Alright, anyways. I hope you guys enjoyed that. enjoy talking about it and really getting off my chest. Um, thank you guys so much who sat through and listened to what I've said for a long ass time. But anyways, you guys, thank you so much. Let me know what you how you feel about it in the comment section below. But do you feel like WrestleMania feels like WrestleMania? Do you feel like WrestleMania season feels like it's WrestleMania season? Do you have different picks on who you think will win at WrestleMania this year? Um, who's gonna be champ? Who's gonna win the grudge match? You guys let me know in the comment section below. Like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a great Sunday. Y'all have fun. Be safe. Tevs the Unknown. Logging off now. It's like it was like, almost went like this. It'd be like when The Rock went like. Okay, I'm done. I'm done. All right. Thank you guys so much. Love you guys. Peace.